Welcome, and from me say Galaxy Tab A7, and today I'll go over unboxing along with an overview of this device. So starting off, obviously this is the packaging that it comes in, nothing really special, honestly feels a little bit budget-like, nothing on top, as usually Samsung just drops something on the top of the case. So let's set that to the side, then the tablet itself, so set that to the side for now. Now I'll mention that the tablet is already set up. I went through it just to look at how it works and stuff like that, to have some kind of opinion. So in here we have the warranty card and some paperwork and some eject tool, and that's about it. Then on the other side we got the cable and the charger. So this is a cable, is I believe Type A to Type C, but I might be wrong, so let me quickly, yep, Type A to Type C. Now, maybe I should probably show that on camera. Right here you can see it. So there's the Type C. There we go. So just drop it to the side, and then we got the charger. So this is a, no, that can't be right. That is apparently a 7.8 watt charger. It's not even 10 watts. This is absolute garbage in this case, the charger at least. So yeah, that's basically what we get in the box. I think, let's see if there's anything underneath it. No, that doesn't actually want to come out, so yeah, I assume that's about it. So let's go to the tablet. Hopefully it's gonna hold up a little bit better than that charger. I assume, I mean, I understand that Samsung had problems with their devices blowing up, but that is no excuse to give you a 2010 charger, basically. Oh no. Oh well. My plenty just got kind of spilled a little bit. Unfortunate. But let's get into the device itself. Disregard the language here. So, let's start off. The display, it's a 10.4 inch. It's kind of completely unrelated to the Tab 7 that it has a name on, which I believe at one point the 7 or whatever would have standed for the size of it, but at this point it does not. And that is a 1200 by 2000 pixels display, so it's a little bit over 1080p. And also it has a 79% screen to body ratio, a little bit smaller than I would really like, but I guess if you want something that looks a little bit more modern, you would probably go with the Tab S7 instead of the A7. And also pixels per inch, 224, so again it's fairly low, I would say, but again this is a budget device, so honestly, for just when I'm looking at it right now, it looks okay. I don't see any kind of like pixels popping at me, so that's good. And obviously it's an LCD IPS display, so you're not going to be getting that typical Samsung Super AMOLED displays. It's just a typical LCD here. Although I have to say it does look good in terms of colors. It's really vibrant and looks really nice, but right now this is max brightness, as you just seen me checking it out. This is literally maxed out in brightness, and I am in a really poorly lit environment right here, so this should be blasting my irises away, but it is not. So in direct sunlight this thing will look like it's turned off, basically. Now moving further on, we can go into the cameras, which I'm just kind of gonna mention them. I'm not really gonna test them. The device isn't made to capture photos or anything like that, and that is really apparent by the well, pixels on those cameras. So the front one is a 5 megapixel sensor that shoots at 1080p 30 frames. So obviously this is, both of them are more for like conference calls and stuff like that, and I would really advise you to not use them for anything else. And the back sensor, if I flip it over, so you can see it right over here, this tiny little thing, that is an 8 megapixel, again 1080p sensor that shoots at 30 frames. So you're not going to be getting anything outstanding right here. We can quickly just kind of look at the front one, which will probably be the worst one, but ooh, that's bad. So obviously you can see this isn't too good. Let's deny it. So obviously, oh, that looks so bad. Let me turn off the light so it doesn't interfere. There we go. So you see in the front is well equivalent to me taking, I don't know, oil painting and just smudging some facial characteristics on it. And I would not use this even on my worst enemy. But I guess for conference calls, you can torture your employee. So apart from the god-awful cameras, this this tablet comes with a Snapdragon 662, so fairly budget processor right here. And you have two alternatives in terms of the memory built into it. So we have a 32GB and 64, and both of them have 3GB of RAM. Now you can still expand the storage further via SD card if you wanted to, so that is really nice. And apart from that, it does come with a fairly okay battery of 7400. Now, and honestly, in recent timing, I have seen phones that have 7000 battery, so this isn't really that impressive here. But because of the really budget processor, fairly low resolution of the display, this battery should hold up a decent amount of time. The problem is with that literal trash of a charger that they decided to insult you with in the box, with 7.8 watts, you'll be most likely charging this device for a little bit too long. Then you this probably device will spend most time charging, and when you're using it, I'm not sure if with this charger, I assume you might actually be losing charge while using it while charging. I wouldn't be surprised, but I guess it's something that you'll have to check out. Intensive use, plug it in, see if your percentage goes up or down. It should be interesting, honestly, to find out. And obviously the device itself comes with an Android 10, and that was about its key featuristics. It comes with also the One UI 2.0, which is the Samsung's UI that they implement to their devices. It is fairly nice, clean, it works really well, has a bunch of features. It's a little bit cut down from what you would expect from like typical Google device, but it's still, I would say, really good. It's one of the better skins of Android that are out there. Now, outside of the look of the system itself, we can look at the tablet as well. So you can see at the front we have a slab of glass almost with this bezel around here. So this is part of the casing. This kind of thing is primarily used to when you drop it, so the plastic tries to protect the screen from cracking, so the impact just bends the plastic and breaks it in a way, but not the display. So this is kind of like a really budget version of protecting your device, instead of giving it a rigid build that would withstand an impact. Then apart from that, as you can see, the back is fairly bland. You just have a simple Samsung logo along with this marking right here, single camera, and this kind of weird thingy right up here. Not really sure what the design here was, but whatever. And then from both sides we have speaker grills, if I can actually get the light on them. There we go. Now, unfortunately, I have no way of pushing this tablet further, so this is the only way I can show it. So speaker grills, and then on here we also have more speaker grills along with a headphone jack right over here, but there we go. So it caught. So this thing, actually I thought that might be a pen, but it's just a headphone jack. So yeah, and obviously Type-C charging, like I showed with the charger. And that's about all I can show from the design. Now on the sides also we have the power key and side keys, and on the other side we got SIM tray or SD tray. So that's about all that is with this device here. Now, last thing that I'll say is the price of it, which it comes at around 240 euros. So tablets are kind of a niche thing, I would say, and I'm not exactly sure if for $240 or euros this is a worth or not purchase. Personally, I'm not really a tablet user. If I would be using anything like that, I would probably go with something that has a pen. This does not, and that's why I kind of don't see the value in it. It basically functions as a phone, it's just bigger. So I guess the value is there for you to decide. It does come at a fairly cheap cost, honestly, but then the specifications of this device are really low, and to me, even as a device that is secondary, for instance, like at home to listen to music or do some weird stuff on it, the specifications are just too low, in my opinion. I wouldn't be able to withstand this slow device. But like I said, that is just my personal opinion, and I'm more of a flagship user, even though my device isn't necessarily the greatest. It still will run better than this, and I probably would not want to use something that runs slower than that. The cameras, like I mentioned, are kind of bad. The charger is bad. The battery is okay. Built-in storage, okay, because it can be expanded as well. The RAM that comes with it, a little bit low at 3 GB in 2020, seems, in my opinion, just way too poor. 4 gigs at the minimum is what I would want to have in it. And yeah, just to finish it off, with a faster charger, more RAM, and maybe a little bit better looking design, because it does seem super budget. With those things fixed up, I probably would be looking at this device, but at this moment, as it is, it has, to me, a little bit too many flaws to be worth purchasing, even for the 240 euros. So that is my personal opinion. But like I said, that is something for you to decide on your own, if you want a device like this, because overall, for checking email, watching YouTube on it, and maybe, I don't know, slapping some music in your house over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or stuff like that, it does the job. If you're looking for a device that only does this, then yeah, sure, it seems okay. But if you're planning to, I don't know, do some gaming on it, I don't think this device will hold up for it. And like I said, even if it does what it's supposed to do, the charging of it is super slow, and if you slap it with some heavier task, it might really struggle with actually keeping the charge while being used. So that is basically my overview of it. And yeah, so if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.